You know, E3 2019 is just about over, and there hasn't really been a great deal of controversy coming out of this year. All things considered, nothing really interesting has happened. Nintendo talked about Smash Bros. It talked about Animal Crossing. We all know those things were there. Microsoft brought out Halo once again. We all know those things were there. And Sony didn't bother to show up, yet everyone still talked about Sony. So I would argue that when you start breaking it down to a who won situation, it was clearly Sony. But when it comes to the type of controversy that I know you're looking for, the type of controversy that I'm clearly going to be talking about here, it has everything to do with Rock Paper Shotgun and their coverage of the CD Projekt Red 50-minute behind-the-scenes walkthrough of the game, which I'm pretty sure will be definitely released to the public here, probably within a week or two. But look, before we jump into it, at no point contact this person. At no point say anything to this person. We're judging their words, not who they are as people, and leave it at that. I cannot stress that enough, especially recently on YouTube. You have to make that disclaimer. So consider yourself trigger warned, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this article here titled Cyberpunk 2077's E3 demo has weak gunplay and unimaginative stereotypes. Now, you're looking at the gunplay aspects of it from the previous videos. It looks about what you would expect from this type of first-person shooter RPG type thing. I don't really feel it's going to be anything to write home about, but I don't care about any of that for the purposes of this video. So Matt here wanted to check it out. He's all happy, all pleased that Keanu Reeves makes an appearance, and he's very excited at some of the jokes we find out early on in the demo. But it's from there that he finds himself at odds with what we're seeing, because we play a mission where you go in and or the player goes in and works with or is trying to take out the animals. Which is a gang, of which there are many in this game, of which there are absolutely many in this game. And, well, when the gunfight starts going, this is when Matt starts to basically go political for the sake of going political. There's really no reason here for him to say some of the things that he does. Now, first up is this little clip here, this little snippet here. So it says here, he tells us we have to go check out the van that's being guarded by some hired muscle. Meatheads, he calls them. Animals, he calls them next. It's their faction name. It turns out they're obsessed with juice. The nature of juice was not specified. Good to know. But just right there, it's a gang named the Animals. Not necessarily the most imaginative name out there, but a lot of these gangs we see in video games aren't that imaginative in regards to their specific function or to their specific name. Now, he goes on to say, I later asked the quest director, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this, if the factions are more nuanced than they appear. So far, they've all been defined by one fixation, juice for the animals, uploading themselves for the voodoo boys. He told me that nuance would appear over the course of the game and that the animals would appear again under different circumstances. He didn't give me any examples of that nuance mind. Now, it's where we get to that mind comment that really gets under my skin. There's nothing I hate more than a pretentious failed journalist turned video game reporter, because that's basically what this guy is. Some of the dialogue he uses, the words, the phrasing, he's trying to be very pretentious because he's British and he feels that's kind of his entire point. But we can see there that he's looking for something. Right? What pray tell is the nuance of the Animals gang? And you're like, well, we're going to see him again later on. We know that they're going to be around in some other capacity, but no, right now, like, look, it's a story. It's an arc. We're not fully there yet. And remember, journalists hate to play video games. They like to complain about them. So there's obviously, he's going, oh man, I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to have to play the game to get to the nuance. Why don't you just tell me the nuance? That way I can just play it. He can just write about it, get paid his money, get his 2 pence for making this whole thing. And he goes on just to more or less complain about it. But you can see here that he's already not really into the gameplay, because it says here, at this point, the demo resets before we infiltrated the compound. Now, the person playing is controlling a strong solo character type, who immediately demonstrates this by tearing 2 doors open with her cyber arms. We're discovered soon after as a stealth attack goes awry. We punch that man to the floor, then stab another animal many times with a broken bottle as they try to run away from us. It's horrible. It's also a video game. And you clearly are not the type of person who would want to be reviewing this game. I don't know why Rock, Paper, Shotgun, and John Walker, if he's still there, I have no idea if he's still running that particular platform into the ground, is out there actually sending you to this thing. Oh, you don't like violent video games. Would you prefer to cover Animal Crossing for Nintendo? Perhaps that's more your speed. Maybe you can go and find a retro store and buy Barbie's Horse Adventure for the Wii. Maybe that's more your liking. But it's like, look, it's a video game where you get to shoot people and you do violent things to people. I have to honestly ask the question, have you ever played a CD Projekt Red game before? Have you played Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt? Did you, like Patrick Klepek from Waypoint, turn your head in disgust when you see some digital boobies on the screen? And I think, Matt, the answer to that is probably yes. I think instead of taking cream in your coffee, there's probably a healthy serving of soy. It's not really a joke I like to make very often, but I feel in this particular case, the nuance fits. But that being said, he goes on to describe more about the stabbing, as well as giving his overall in regards to the demo. So it says the stabbing caused V to level up, and the person playing the demo opens up a menu with 12 option points for skills. Though we don't have a good look at them, once the menu's closed, a man comes at us with superhuman speed, but we grab hold of him and advance on a turret as it riddles his body with bullets. Then, because again, we're very strong, we rip the turret off its base and turn it on the animals. At this point, I feel increasingly uncomfortable that we're shooting at predominantly black people labeled as animals. Kind of see where it's going now. You kind of see where things are happening here, right? It's like, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm feeling uncomfortable in my seat. I don't like being here. It's a 50-minute demo. Get me off this ride. Basically it, isn't it? That's basically it. You're upset that you're there. I get it. 50 minutes is a long time for you to sit there and be away from Twitter. I understand that, Matt. I get it. But at the same time, you're playing a game where you unload on other people and you can hack people and make them shoot themselves in the head, which you also begrudgingly talk about in this particular write-up. And then you're upset that a guy comes at you and then you use him as a human shield against a turret, pull off the turret, and then go full ham on a group of bad guys that are trying to kill you. You're just upset that they're a Haitian gang named the Animals, because apparently now we've gone back to Grand Theft Auto Vice City and also Resident Evil 5. Now, to make a quick caveat to that, game industry definitely has a bit of a love. I know Resident Evil 5 was Africa, not Haiti, but GTA Vice City was Haiti. They got to love with that particular community because there's a lot of mysticism there, and there's a lot of violence that comes out of Haiti. Look, you go on to criticize this. You go on to continuously browbeat the quest designer over this fact and ask him what feels like extremely leading questions in order to particularly push a narrative. And you're kind of asking these gotcha questions, right? Well, where's the nuance? Are they all black? Are they all this? Are they all that? I want to know. Tell me now. I need it. Feed it to me, daddy. That's basically what it is that you're pushing out here. And it's ridiculous because the guy tells you that this is an arc, that it's not all black members of the Animals, that they have other races, other designations, other genders. This is a game about transhumanism to an extent, cyberhumanism. Not everyone's going to identify as what they identify as when they were born. They're going to change. It's the whole point of Cyberpunk. The game allows you to explore those facets, and people. And look, this is just societally speaking. People tend to gravitate towards those that are similar to them. Whether it's an opinion, a gender, a race, whatever. Political identity, people will kind of tend to find each other. So in regards to these gangs that are in a very, very, very poor part of town, them working together seems to kind of make a fair amount of sense. Now, is it a commentary on the structural racism that could be happening inside of this game? Who knows? I haven't played it, and neither of you. It's a 50-minute section of a game that's going to definitely take upwards of 60 to 100 hours to complete, and you're very much trying to push a narrative because that's exactly what people like you do. That's exactly what people like you do. Rock, Paper, Shotgun has been an irrelevant site for quite some time. Now, I'm not one to talk about relevance because in no way am I relevant, and I'm okay with that. But this site has not been relevant in a long, long, long time. And you bringing that toxic attitude to this game is only going to better serve to get clicks for your website. I feel lesser of a human for actually having read this because because this was not what I believe to be a fair representation of what you saw. I think, though, given the wording that you're used and the context of which you're using it and the phrasing, you are looking for an agenda. You come in with an agenda. You come in to push an ideology, and that is something that you shouldn't do when reporting on a video game that's still currently in development. Browbeating the quest designer to go, well, is it racist? Is not let them design the game and then you judge it when it comes out. Because you're trying to set this toxic ideology ahead of time, or this toxic mindset, or you're trying to push them as being something that they're not before it comes out. And we know CD Projekt Red has gotten a lot of crap as it is for certain things that they've done, and like The Witcher, people like you didn't like, so they come out and attack it. But all you're going to do is just further the divide in regards to having a conversation about look here. Okay, look, there's a line in here too where the quest designer, realizing and recognizing the assault that's happening to him by this writer, by Matt Cox, what he's saying, he goes, look, we very much care about representation and nuance. We have reached out to different communities and different people who are adept in those cultures to bring them in to consult with us in order to make sure we got it right. And that should be the headline. That should be where it's at. But instead, it's just, no, I don't like where this is going at all. So I'm gonna repeatedly ask these type of questions in order to, shame him into making a game. This is why games journalism is dying. It really, really, really is. This kind of crap. It really is, because you go in with an agenda, right? You go in with an agenda, and that's absolutely crappy. And I think you know it. And I think a lot of other people are going to talk about it too. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions. I want to know how you feel about this. Let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.